Hi, 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 hi. It's the live stream. Haven't seen you for a while. I went on holiday. I went even more north into Scotland, can you believe it? And saw amazing things. Beautiful sights, expanses of water, tremendous mountains. Oh, it was an absolute dream. So apologies for being away. Well, I don't really mean that actually. I'm not saying sorry for going on holiday at all. It was wonderful. Hooray, I went away, but now I'm back. Also, hooray. Full of beans, ready for the big old dip towards Christmas. Lots of exciting things to look at. So let's start sharing. Let's have a look to see how we are doing. So we've got our live stream here, and let's have a look at our agenda for the day. It's the usual thing. Task of the week, reporting spotlight from our own correspondence, telling you all the things that have been hot on the support help desk this week. We're going to look at what's new and a power move as usual. So task of the week this week, as you will see, the general flavour of things this week is that we are super excited and delighted about your enthusiasm for PDF creation training. It's sent out a notification the other day with the latest iteration of updates on how to create PDFs from Consonance. Popped a little bit of an aside in there, really, saying, by the way, if you'd like us to arrange a one-day training session, then be super happy to do that. As you know, I pop on the internet every week with this old dog and pony show, saying, what we're doing, what's coming up, what's new. Training really to me is just sort of another flavour of that. But this time, pretty much, well, a very large proportion of our treasured clients have responded to say, oh, that would be fantastic. So we're really excited about that training course, formal training, online training course that's going to be happening. And it's going to be happening on the 6th of November, which is a Thursday. See, it's like the live stream, but like full day. It's only for Consonance clients because we are going to be on a Zoom call, and I'm going to be sharing my screen. I'm going to be talking freely and liberally about things that Consonance clients should know. We're going to take the day to build some templates for flyers, catalogues, rights guides, advanced information sheets, tip sheets, so on and so forth. And it's going to be great. So really today's live stream is a little bit of a teaser for that sort of thing. We're going to be looking at some of the elements around that functionality within Consonance, because if you're expressing enthusiasm about this, first of all, it's great that there is an appetite for it. Second of all, doesn't it speak to the complexity of the task? It's not like we've just given you a button and you click it and magically somehow what you need comes out, whether it's a catalogue or whatever. No, it's one of those great power, well, not great responsibility, great number of options that you can add in, but that means that you need guidance stepping through it. So we're aware that it's a chunky feature, and we're happy to really dive in together in depth on it to look at it. So this week on the live stream in Task of the Week, I thought we would look at some of the incidental stuff around that, and we're going to look at setting up styles. And we're going to look at setting up styles not least because that has attracted a couple of extra feature development things in the last week or so. So it's also fits nicely under what's new or whatever. But we'll go there now, and we'll have a look at the page. And when I say styles, this is the colours, the typography, the way that the page appears visually when you're generating your PDFs, and there is a degree of customization within that. You've been going to the marketing material templates page to generate the actual sort of layout of the PDF layout, but it's text styles that we're looking at today. So I'm going to click on text styles, which is profoundly difficult to say, text styles. And we're going to look at what we've got here. So it's like a settings page. Every time you generate an AI, you do not have to come here. This is where you set up your brand look and feel. This is a way to bring consistency across your flyers, your advanced information sheets, your catalogues, and so on and so forth. And if you, as an individual human person, make a change on this page, you've done a kindness to your teammates, because this is a shared space. This is where you're going to be able to say what the running header looks like, and that's going to be usable across, a number of different templates. Not required, optionally usable, but it's there nevertheless. So let's have a look at this page, see what's on it. So we've got a way to add a new text style, and we've got a list of all of the existing ones that have been set up. And you'll notice the big thing that jumps out is that we have a bit of a preview here. We're able to make a change. Let's change the colour of this running header. We're able to make a change, and then when we save that, the change is going to be updated here. And some other aspects are going to be updated as well. And this is a really, I'm jumping ahead slightly, but this is a really, really useful aspect of this page. It gives you quick feedback as to whether you are going to be creating PDFs which are usable to some of your audience, or whether they are unusable to some of your audience. There's a ratio of contrast that you should be aspiring to. I mean, we aspire to it as software developers in terms of making our interface accessible. You can also aspire to it by making your PDF marketing materials accessible as well. And that's the ratio of this colour, if you can see it, this orangey colour, to the background white that we're seeing on the page. So that tells me this is not an okay colour to choose for my brand highlight colour. I'm going to amend that in a moment. But it's worth just mentioning that this is the ratio of the colour contrast of the text that you've chosen, and it does take into account size as well. It's the ratio between the colour of the text and a white background. So that's the two inputs to that ratio. And if we hop into dark mode for a moment, which you'll recall is a new thing in Consonance, we've kept this column as having a white background, because we're not emitting coloured background PDFs from the system. So for our purposes, what we're interested in, aren't we, is making sure that the colours on the PDF are going to be of a good contrast. So that's why that's all white. Go back to light mode just for a moment. So yes, so each of the text styles that will be available for inclusion in our PDFs are listed on this page, and we can change the style name. So let's call that subheading. Oh, we've been here before. Subheading. We can change the font name. So if I click on, and there's no edit page to go to for this. You want edits on this page in line, like you're seeing here, pop-ups appear. And so the options we've got, this text style is down as Montserrat, the font, and you can see the preview. These previews are in the font that has been selected. These are the options that we have at the moment. I think I've got déjà vu now. I'm sure I've mentioned this previously, but we have added in a few more fonts on client request. It's super ideal for us if they are if they hold a license that is akin to the Google Fonts license, because then we know that all of our clients can use all of the fonts that are listed here without having to check license information, because they are available for public use. these do come at a cost to us. Font files are big, and we don't want to make our code base size any bigger than it has to be. So we will be a little bit circumspect about adding ones in here. But as time goes past, if nobody uses Serala for 2 years, then we'll gracefully retire it and sub in something else that is useful. But like I say, if they're public, then that's helpful to us, because if we're putting a chunky file into our code base, we really want all of our clients to be getting the benefit of it. So you might, in fact, we've had suggestions from some clients. Can we include their specially designed licensed font? And we can, but I would definitely push back to say just double, triple, quadruple check that that's really what you want, because it doesn't come. It comes for free for you. It doesn't come for free for us. So that's why I'm going on about it. Anyway, Montserrat is a lovely one. Noto Sans is a really good one for character support. I can more or less. I was going to say I'm not going to guarantee anything. I can be very confident that Noto Sans is a good choice if you've got lots of diacritics, particular scripts, and so forth. Never guarantee. Good Lord. Colour, we had a look at a moment, but this is scratching a hole in my brain, so I'm going to change this right now. Let's see if this sort of browny hue is going to be a bit better. That's much better. The contrast is smashing, and it's at a ratio of nearly 8, 7.5 to 1. I think we're aspiring to 7.1, so that's great. You'll see on that help text there some of the details about what we're trying to achieve. Oh, that's a fly, go away. Some of the details of what we're trying to achieve, and you can go somewhere on the internet and have a look at more information about this. This isn't a Consonance thing. This is a web standards thing. So enjoy getting the right colours so that everyone can see your wonderful metadata. Next column along is style, and the options on the style drop down are normal and bold. Very happy to take feature requests on this stuff. So if you want a different sort of style there, such as emphasis, then don't hesitate to reach out. On the PDFs, if we're looking at if a piece of marketing text has been included on the PDF, like a main description, and if that marketing text contains HTML, which it will do if you've used our, if you've typed it into Consonance on the metadata page, it's properly marked up so that the services ingest it properly. Then if you've marked a particular word or a clause or a phrase as italic or bold, then that will get parsed as appropriate. But this is a style that would apply to the entirety of the design element that you're including. So that's why we've not necessarily rushed to put emphasis italics in there, because, well, never say never. If you want it, definitely shout. So for the moment that's set for bold there. You can see bold and normal. Font size is akin to what you would be very familiar with. We have topped it off at 12 on this one. So if we save that, you can see that that's 12-point font. We've got a 33-point font here. I think the absolute maximum is 34. And really that's as chunky as we have decided any text should be on marketing materials. Don't hesitate to prove me wrong. If you need a bigger or a smaller font, just reach out. Don't think you can do minus size fonts though, because that would be inexplicable. Leading. I mean, we're all publishers here, right? So we know what this is. Leading is the space between lines. So if we make this 2, then we're not going to see much difference because there's only a little bit of text there. If I make the leading on this chunky muffin one a bit bigger though, let's have a look. It's going to give us, it's a single line, so it's just wrapped rather than being a paragraph. So that would be having an effect on the PDF itself. Character spacing is a new one. So this is set to 1 at the moment. I've put the maximum character spacing, so this is the space between, let's say, the letters. I've put that maximum as being 5 because that really is quite spacious. But let's have a look at, I think 1 is really elegant, and provides a little bit of an elevated title feel. Let's see what 0 looks like. Yeah, 0's a bit squished up. Haven't got enough space for a subheading like that. 2 might be the sweet spot. Let's see. Oh, look how lovely that looks. Yeah, that's very elegant and noble. Good, great. So that's character spacing. That's a new one. Alignment is left, centre or right. We're really thinking this is where you would want to perhaps centre the title, big title, on the right hand side of an advanced information sheet. I have seen quite a few beautiful advanced information sheets with the right alignment as well. So anyway, you know what alignment is: left, centre and right. We'll stick on the left sensibly. Then the next column along is new again, and this one is called transform. So let's have a look at what transform does. This, as you'd expect, transforms the entirety of the text. But there are some interesting options here that we'll do. So itself is the default, and it's not going to mess up your data. So an example here, which my esteemed colleague pointed out, which is a really excellent point, was that sometimes people publish works and products, and they have deliberately put in lowercase titles or lowercase author names. So I'm thinking E. Cummings, and I'm thinking, there's plenty of poetry, isn't there, that's all lowercase. Can't think of an exact example now, but it is, it's not okay if computers make assumptions about how your actual content should be displayed. So if you want to absolutely enforce the consonants, say, not messing around with your text there, then leave it as the default, which is itself, and things will be happy. What are the other options? Upcase first. Well, let's select upcase first and see what happens. The first letter has been upcased, so that's lovely. I haven't used the word capitalise there because it's got we'll see in a moment. So we've done upcase first. Am I going to be able to do that? Yeah. Titleise. Okay, before I go to titleise, notice that upcase first has upcased the first character in this whole string. Brown, jumping and fox are not uppercase. So titleise has titleised each word. So brown is now capitalised, J is now capitalised. So that's what titleise means. Great news. Upcase, shout at the screen by all means. I can't hear you. What's it going to do? Hey, it's uppercased everything. You were right all along. Humanise is quite a nice one. If you've got, the classic is when you've got a file name and it's got underscores in it. It can't imagine how that would be relevant here. Oh, I think there is a report element actually that is the file name of the cover file, maybe? I might just be imagining that. But anyway, if you had a piece of data and it was a bit computery in as much as it had underscores or hyphens between the words, then you can use humanise to turn it back into a human format. And you can see if the words are readable and fine anyway, it's not going to mess around with it. It's going to leave it be. Next one's capitalise. What will that do? It does that. Just changes the first character there of that string. And then I've run out of space. Let me go a bit small again. Underneath capitalise, then the last one we've got is downcase, and that is going to make it all downcase. So that's if you want, think of an example. I don't know, would you want, no, I was going to say put all your thema codes in downcase. That would be terrible idea. I can't think of a single piece of data that should be downcased, but I'm sure you can. And so now the option is there to do it. So that's an extra number of ways to set up text styles, and they're going to be usable on our advanced information sheets and so on. it is super hard designing in the abstract, isn't it? It is super hard to come to a page like this and think, right, I'll get all of the styles I'll ever need all set up, and that'll be great. It's much more straightforward to add one of these text styles, go to a real advanced information sheet, see how it looks, tinker with it, see how it feels in context alongside all of the other elements, and then come back to this page and edit and iterate. I'm sure you know, but you can absolutely have two tabs open at the same time that are your Consonance setup. So you can keep the tab open, dip into one, dip into the other, keep going backwards and forwards. You can have them side by side on two different screens if you wanted. But yeah, when I'm setting these things up, and you can see I've been doing a lot of setup recently, I bounce back and forth between the two pages, tweaking, and rather than feeling like there's a budget for how many styles I can have, I create new ones. I add new text styles, and I make sure that I'm not sort of trampling over somebody else's use of the text style, perhaps. While we're on this page, I'll just mention that there are two text styles that your account ships with, and I've made it so that they stay there. You can edit them by all means. Your default text can be something very outlandish, but the words emphasis text and default text we're keeping as locked, and that's because those are tried and tested, very frequently used sorts of text that anyone would want to have on their marketing material PDFs. So we keep those, so you won't be able to delete those, and that's why there's no droppy downy to delete that there. But you can delete the others if you've created a terrible text style and you think, no, I'm not going to use that ever again. But it's going to stop you from deleting text styles that have been used. So that's going to defend other people's templates from your desire to have a spring clean. That's right. Great. So that's the text styles page really. And I think rather than diving into the marketing materials templates and starting to use them, we'll call that a day on that task for the moment, because we're going to get to use all of these exciting text styles and design some more on our course on the 6th of November. So this is as close as I'm ever going to get to doing advertising. Actually, no, that's Christmas is fast approaching, and if you've not seen our past Christmas adverts on YouTube, there's a treat awaits you. Go and see that there's no limit to our creativity when it comes to bibliographic software marketing. Anyway, so yes, sign up to the course. It's an Eventbrite page. It's in your Consonance notifications. I can't put a link here because YouTube is public. But if you're a Consonance client, look in your notifications. I think the notification says something like "Read me for marketing material training." There's a link in there that you can sign up, and then we'll send you the Zoom link on the day. And it'll be an exciting, wonderful thing. For those of you who, eagerly follow along, why wouldn't you? But you're not yet Consonance clients, I will be doing the course publicly on YouTube. It's not going to be using any of our clients' data, obviously. It's going to be generic, and it's not going to be quite as rich as the options that we'll provide for our esteemed fee-paying clients. But there will be a public version at some point as well. So don't worry if you're thinking, if you've got a fear of missing out and you're thinking, I wish I could spend the entire day listening to her go on about PDFs. That will be all right. Your time will come. Right, let's have a look at what's next on the list. We've done task of the week, and now we are going to look at the reporting spotlight. And again, circling around this general topic that we have of the exciting appetite for generating marketing materials. And if it's not been made clear, when I'm talking about marketing materials, I'm talking about anything that comes out on a PDF. I mean, there's a flipping fly. Oh, get over. You can absolutely consider Excel spreadsheets to be some form of marketing. If you're able to enter your works into a promotion, then sending off the Excel spreadsheet to the organisers is absolutely marketing. But I'm using the phrase marketing material PDFs as something that has a visual element to it that is printed on a PDF. So for the reporting spotlight this week, what I thought we would do is go to the reporting area and do a few searches on the fly to see what sort of searches we would do to constrain down a list of the sort of products that we might include on a catalogue, a flyer, a set of advanced information sheets. And in the fullness of time, there's going to be being able to search by rights as well, licensed rights. So this is a useful starting point for thinking, well, I'll have my template done, brilliant. What will the entries be on the PDF? So anyway, let's hot foot it over to Consonance. I think if you've been turning up to the live stream so far, you know how to get to the reporting area. But if you don't, and apologies for those who absolutely know this, if you don't, then there are a number of different ways. You click on this icon, top left, it says menu, and the tooltip thing says open with control. So I can either click, because I have an unlimited budget for clicking on mouse pads, or I can press control on the keyboard, boink boink, and then it comes up. And I've now trained my arthritic hands to gently hit the control button twice, so I don't have to use my fingertip to make the mouse pad work all the time. So keyboard access, very good idea for making your menu open. And then I can type reporting if I want to, and hit the tab button, hit the enter button, enter, and that's going to take me to the reporting page. So that's all great. My naming conventions are falling apart, aren't they, a little bit, but we won't worry about that. We're going to create a new report. So let's create a new report and let's have a think. So let's say, for instance, we are going to be producing a catalogue for Spring/Summer 2026. And let's say that we're going to be focusing on the front list section. The front list section is going to have, on every page, it's going to have two works, one at the top, one at the bottom. Later on, we're going to do a backlist section, and that's going to have maybe 12 works per page. But we're going to focus on the front list for the Spring/Summer 2026 catalogue. So, let's start with the clues that are in that description. Let's go to pub date. So I'm going to say pub date is on or after. And as you know, we get three different options here. I can either say it's going to be on or after the 1st of the 1st, 2026. And I can totally do that, and that's fine. It's a date picker. We all know where we stand with date pickers, don't we? Lovely. Or I can say, well, actually, let's think about this relatively. It's going to be in about 90 days. And you can see that that's come out as Wednesday the 21st, well, maybe you can't, Wednesday the 21st of January 2026. So if your search is more of a relative thing from now or ago, then you can use the relative date. And you might be familiar with that from the to-dos area. And we can round to, the beginning of the year. So where's beginning of year? There it is. So that has rounded, 90 days from now, but round to the beginning of the year. And that's brought us back the 1st of January 2026. Or if that's all a bit fiddly, because 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes, you can do quick picks. And quick picks say, let's do next year. And then that starts at the 1st of January 2026. So all roads lead to Rome. There's no difference between any of those. This is much more about what way of defining the date that you're interested in makes most sense to you in the moment. And you also need to bear in mind, are you going to be running this report every week? Is it going to be like a rolling report? In which case relative date is fantastic, because you're going to be doing 7 days from now, round to the beginning of the week. And that's always going to return, whatever today's date is, it's going to be 7 days from now, rounded to the beginning of the week. So for this week, because it's the 23rd of October today, that means the 27th of October. If I save this report and come back next week, different date, because it's relative to today. So that can be really helpful, because what we want to get to, don't we, is setting up a bunch of reports on Consonance, doing that hard thinking work, ideally just raising a ticket with support and getting us to write the difficult bit. But then you've got your library of useful reports, and you don't have to do things more than once. One version of the truth applies to tasks as much as data, doesn't it? You want to set something up and then that to keep on earning its value. For now, it doesn't really matter, does it? I've done a bit of a speech about that, but for now we'll say, actually let's go right back and do a real fixed date thing so that we're really clear what's going on. So if I run that search, defaults to saying that there's 36 products, which feels about right. Let's just have a quick look at the detail of that. Go into my old trusty products, and we've got January, we've got March, we've got that's it, February, a little bit there. So we've got a smattering of products that we might want to go into the catalogue. If there was an outlier on here, typically there isn't. If we were thinking, well, this is spring-summer 2026, I definitely don't want our super secret Christmas 2026 books to go in, products to go in. So we can add a second condition. It's the same first field, publication date, but now we can say on or before, and then we can sort of bookend it. So we're happy that it's going to be from the 1st of Jan, but then we're going to have it to, when does summer begin or end? Spring, summer. Don't make me choose. No, that's not quite right. This is not important, sorry. 1st of the 8th. Don't write in to say that August is still summer. You get the gist. So we've got a bookended set of dates, and that's the publication date. So the list of products that we have will have a pub date that's within that range. Very great. Do we want to include all of the audiobooks in this catalogue, or have we got it in mind that we're actually going to do a separate audiobooks catalogue and we don't want that in? This is all now down to personal preference, isn't it? But I'm just using the data in front of us to demonstrate how you can whittle down your selection. So let's say, for the sake of argument, that we're doing a huge audiobook extravaganza. It's going to have its own catalogue, and we don't want to spoil this particular catalogue, which we're going to call the paperback catalogue. And in fact, now that I've just made that up and said that, let's call this the print catalogue. And we're going to say within this catalogue, we don't want anything that isn't print. So we don't want the DGs here. We don't want the electronic book texts. We don't want the audio downloads. We don't want the audio cassettes. So what is the best way to refine down our search? Do we want to say, give me the following product forms? Or do we want to say, don't give me the following product forms? It all turns out the same, but again, it's like, what makes most sense to your mind in the moment? So let's go to product form. Product form. Do you see how you can, by the way, type fragments of strings and it will find the entry that you need? It's quite useful. It saves you having to type out products-product form, which, you'd never find anything. So products, product form, include any of, but there's another option there, include none of, any of or none of. And so we can say, well, don't include audio, don't include audio cassette, don't include audio, CD audio. That's a completely valid way to do it. And in fact, if I press search now, you'll see that AA, AB and AC have been omitted from the list. Fantastic. Or we can say include any of. And since I said I was interested in print, it's probably the way I want to go. I'm going to include hardback and paperback. And now if I press search, it's still got rid of the audiobook. But look, BB, which is hardback, if you know your Onyx, and BC, which is paperback. So, you know, no right or wrong answer. I mean, maybe sometimes there is. But in this case, whatever helps you visualize the commands that you're giving to the report, you can alternate between sort of include-y search conditions or exclude-y search conditions. Two last ways to whittle down things that are going to go in a catalogue. This is looking pretty great at the moment, but I don't want to include cats are watching. Now I'll have to make up some spurious reason why I don't want that. Maybe we know we've just had an editorial meeting and we know that it's a bit shaky, might be pushed back. Let's not include it in the catalogue just to be on the safe side. And so one of the things we can do in a search, in a report, is to sort of manually include or exclude particular entries. So let's save this report. You don't have to, but spring summer 2026 cats print catalogue. Save that name. Great. So now we're going to go from this products list, which is fine, and we're going to go to refine results. And let's click on refine results by product. And at this point, I'm going to be able to say, there's cats are watching. Please exclude it. See exclude selected there. I mean, if I want to, if I want to do it the other way around, I can restrict to selected, and that works just fine. But let's click on exclude selected, and all that does actually, because it's quite malleable for you then, that has added in a condition in the report here. It's added in a condition that says the system identifier is not in this list. So give me all of the products where the system identifier is not in this system identifier is not in this list. And this number, this is like a magic consonance number, but it's pithy. You know, we want, when you're selecting a whole bunch of products here, we might want to store, you know, nearer the thousands than the single digit numbers. So we're doing it quite pithily there. But it means that you can delete that if you want, and it's all within your control. It's not like you have to come to this page, make a change, but then the next time you come back, it's back again. No, this is like a savable option. So I'm going to do that again. I've ticked cats are watching, watch up here underneath product form. I'm going to click exclude selected, and there is my condition that has been added in. So that's really helpful. So now I know that I've started with a date range, I've refined it down to a type of product form, and I've also manually gone through the list and said, yeah, not that one for reasons. The last thing I'm going to show you on this is persisting this in another way so that you can order the records within your catalogue. And the most sensible way to do this, rather than faffing around with sorts in the report here, is actually to add these products to a batch. And then you can keep that sort of safely, you can reorder all of the products, you can archive your choices for the spring summer. It's just a little bit less transient in a way than a report. So for me, this feels like an appropriate use of sort of saving this stuff as a batch. So I've clicked on choose a display or action, gone to batch actions, and I'm going to create a batch. And the batch is going to be called Spring Summer 2026 Cat Print catalogue, create a batch for 14 products. And then I'm going to be able to go and see that if I want to. I'm going to be able to come back and run a report that uses the batch as the search condition. So again, I've saved that report, that's just fine. But now I've got another option to save my information here in this batch. And you can see, I've got sort options here. So I can sort A to Z, lovely. I can sort pub date descending, which makes a lot more sense. I've never seen a catalogue that's alphabetical order. We demand a lack of chaos. And so on and so forth. And then, that gets you so far, and then you might want to fiddle around a little bit. So that's creating a batch that is sortable, and you're going to be able to see that sort order appear in your catalogue. Now, if you are watching this in the week of the 23rd of October and you're thinking, really? Because I'm sure it came out in a different order the other day. Yes, I'm talking about a feature that is going to be merged later on this week. So a little bit previous. Let's file this under what's new, or what shall be new in an extremely short amount of time. But this is the thinking here. You're now going to be able to sort your batches, and then when you're doing a catalogue or when you're doing a flyer, this is how the data is going to be presented. There's a degree of persistence here as well, so you're able to come back and store that. And you could repeat the whole thing, couldn't you, for the backlist? Will be a completely different set of thinking about what sort of records want to go there. You might want to search by sales efficacy, or if you're showcasing particular contributors at the moment, showcase a bit about translation, works in translation, or particular authors or particular illustrators, anything like that. So this was a sort of I'm thinking of the front list, which is a set of time really. But as you know, there's lots of different ways to do these reports. So you can sort of mix and match and use the report to get that list down for whichever section of the catalogue or whichever flyers or whatever you're doing. So there we go. So that's probably enough on that for today. But we will be using those tools in the marvellous 6th of November Fandango that we're going to be doing. It's going to be just super, isn't it? And it goes to show, actually, we've nearly filled an hour and there's just a lot to talk about. So I'm really looking forward to having a bit more time to focus on this massively important aspect of all of our jobs, our ways to get data out into the world in a compelling fashion that makes people want to stock up, buy more books. As I've been mentioning, from our own correspondence this week, there has just been a lot of enthusiasm and tickets about, yes, please sign me up to the training. So if you've contacted us already, then you will have your invite. I think everyone's confirmed that they have said, yes, I know what's going on, I know when the date is and the times and everything. I've mentioned to a few people, but if you can't make the 6th of November, there are two further options. As I said, I'm going to be doing a public YouTube one, so that will be an option. But I'm very happy to run this course again and again and again until everyone who wants to have seen it has seen it. So definitely definitely send us a support ticket saying, can't make the 6th, desperately keen to know more about PDFs. What should we do? And then we'll forge a plan between us, won't we? And I just thought I'd mention the rough shape of the training as well. We are going to start by creating a flyer. So first 15-20 minutes, we're going to go in, not really worry too much about attention to detail. We're just all going to be in our Consonance account and we're going to create a flyer. And, if we can do that within 20 minutes, I feel like everyone will think, okay, right, that's the rough shape of it. And then we're going to dive down deeper and deeper into exactly how to configure different templates to make them exactly as you want. So the rest of the day will be looking at styling, like we've started to look at today, looking at data elements and the order and how you get them to sit on the page in the way that you want. I'm thinking things like, if you put the extent in, you don't want the number 360 just to be plonked on the page, not explaining itself. So we'll be looking at how to include the number 360 if that's your page extent. What preamble you want on that. You might want to say pages, space, 360. What suffix to put on it, because it might be pages, space, 360, and then the characters pp or space pages or whatever. So lots of that sort of talk about, element by element, what are our options for making it exactly right. And then we're going to be looking at the difference between single work PDFs, so think like an advanced information sheet or a tip sheet, the sort of thing where there's one cover at the top, maybe a title, the blurb, it's about this one work. And then we're going to be thinking about multi-work PDFs. So I'm thinking flyers, a flyer has maybe 6 things on the page and those things are works. And they might have within them multiple products. So a work, might have a paperback, a hardback and an EPUB. There might be 6 of those works on the page, but each one will have information about its paperback, hardback and EPUB. So we'll be looking at how to do that to best effect. We'll be looking at headers and footers, banners and footers. We'll be looking more about reporting. So, how do we use the reporting area like we were looking at a moment ago to get exactly the right products into our catalogue or whatever and have them appear in the right order. So no wonder we need a day, so much to cover. But it's going to be so great because once you've got that set up, it's tweaking then. You'll understand it all, brilliant. But then you can generate 7 catalogues a day if you want, and nobody can stop you because it's going to be a finger click. So I think it's really worthwhile getting to grips with it, understanding the tool, having a great time. Yeah, so lots of chat on the help desk about that this week. Very, very exciting and cool. Thanks for the enthusiasm. It's just so lovely to have conversations, really, isn't it? What's new? PDF enhancements. So we looked earlier at the text styles and we looked at some of the enhancements we've made there, which include character spacing and transforming the content. There are a few other additions, enhancements that have been made. Let's have a look at one of these just so I can show you. We will go over this a lot. Sorted. We will go over this a lot in our training, but there's a few extra things. So thing the first, pagination with a running header. So there are 8 new options for adding pagination in. 9 actually. You can have the number top right, top left, bottom right, bottom left. You can have the number with a bullet and the name of the template. So instead of flyer set up by Emma Support, it could say something like Spring Summer Catalogue 2026 or something like that, or front list. Lovely. You can also say what page you want to start counting on, because the way I envisage this working is that you'll get the the real gubbins of your catalogue or your flyers out of Consonance, but you'll want to add in a forward from the commissioning editor or an advert, and it would be torturous for you to try to get Consonance to emit this sort of perfect finished piece. We'll do the hard sort of detaily bit of the metadata, and then you will take that PDF, bung it into maybe InDesign or Acrobat or similar, and add in any enhancements. So it's perfectly possible that the first page is not going to be page 1. So in this template, we're starting on page 4. So that is a new option. Very good. We've got a header here, a kind of a running header thing here. It says currently report name will go here. So earlier, let me nip back to our page here. Earlier we were looking at figuring out what the products are going to be. I called the report SS 2026 Cats Print Catalogue. That phrase, if I was to run this template, that phrase would appear there. So it's like once per PDF page, PDF sheet, a string of your choice can go along the top, and it's going to be the report name. So that's lovely. So those were some good additions. What other additions were there? I think that was it actually. Oh yes, I made it so that you can delete the banner at the top. Because my first guess was, well, if you don't want the banner that's there, you'll have another one to replace it with. Not true. People put me right very sensibly, saying, can I just... So now you can delete the banner. Very good. You can delete the footer. And was there another option? I'm sure I put something else in here. No, that was it. What else did I put in here? You see, it's longer than one day ago, so my brain's already forgotten. No, that's about it. Those are all the things. So yes, so those are the what's news on the PDF. And then, as I mentioned, we're also working on sorting just at the moment. So that will be added in addition by the time we do our course, which is all very soon and exciting. So that is what's new. Let's now have a look at our agenda, and we're going to see what is next on the list. We've done PDF enhancements. It's a bonus power move. Always an exciting moment on a Thursday afternoon. Headers and footers. So we're kind of running out of time, so I won't take you back to the template because we've just looked at this. We've just looked at the idea that you can now delete a header as well as add a new one. Although the power move element to this is quite exciting. Let's go back. Let's go back and just have a look at the little sneaky thing I did earlier in the week. There was a ticket came in and somebody wanted to get rid of the footer, and there was a icon here, the imprint icon or logo or something. There was some stuff here, but they didn't have any artwork for the footer. And if you delete the artwork, then the default thing comes back, the text, and there's going to be a line, and it's going to be a bit chunky, and so on and so forth. So here is the power move that I effected. Stage 1. Take a screenshot of some white space on your page. Do you see where my cursor is? Right at the top here. I've taken a screenshot. Awesome. I now have a screenshot of some white. Step 2. Go to the footer bit and choose that option. And there it is. Step 3, press save. And now I haven't got a footer as such. I've got the absence of a footer, a lovely empty space. So normally I would say have marketing stuff in here, have selling points, have, a link to your wonderful event that's coming up. But if peace and quiet and silence and nothing is what you crave, then there you go. A power move has been effected. You've got a blank footer there. So that can be quite helpful. And then if you think that was a terrible idea, I want to not do that, then you can delete it and go back to basics. Back to your default text there. So yes, so consider yourself power moved. Great. Right, well, we have filled an hour with the preamble to our 6th of November course, which is going to be, I honestly think it's going to result in more money for all of our clients. I mean, what a thrilling thought, because we're all going to have more capability to create compelling sales materials. and to not have to spend 6 months of our working life doing it, and to not have to kind of get that dread. You shouldn't have a sense of dread when you're looking to do a catalogue. It should be a joyous moment. And you also, if you've got many, many, many imprints, you don't want to risk the reputation problems of having the wrong information out in your PDFs. You know, this is a prime place to use the automation power of computers. It's your payoff. You know, you've put all of this data into Consonance. Yes, you're getting Onyx feeds, and yes, you're getting spreadsheets, and yes, you're getting clarity in one version of the truth. But now you're creating beautiful things that will get to the heart of what publishing is all about. We are making information about these books public, and we're doing it in style. So if you haven't signed up, sign up to the course. We will have a wonderful time on the 6th of November, starting at 10 a.m. UK time, whatever that ends up being. Clocks go forward this Sunday, so use Google to figure out what time 10 a.m. is in your locale. If the times don't work for you, if the dates don't work for you, if the forum doesn't work for you, just get in touch and we'll make it work in whatever sense, because this is good stuff. Right, have a cracking weekend. I hope to see ever more tickets being bought, free tickets. Consonance clients only, though, remember. Actually, it's spring forward, fall back, isn't it? Fall back. We don't fall forward, that would be wrong. The clocks are going to fall back on Sunday. Anyway, I'm sure that between now and then I'm going to be sending out missives with actual dates, actual links, and actual things to click on. Many thanks. Right, have a lovely time of it. Send lots of questions in. Send any examples of PDFs that you're hoping to emulate. If you're coming along to this course thinking, I really hope they cover this sort of layout, send it through. And there's a very, very, very high chance and probability that if you send it through, I will have been able to check it and make sure that it is possible. So very, very happy to receive hopes and dreams, as ever. Magic. Right. Have a good one.